Hi, my name's Matt. I am a Timpanist percussionist at the Scottish Chamber Orchestra. Thank you so much for hearing this video. I'm so sorry I can't be with you in person. I am so unbelievably grateful that to be shortlisted. It's what an honour, I look forward to sort of showing what I can do and what I have been doing for Scottish culture for the orchestral scene. So I want to tell you a little bit how I ended up playing for the Scottish Chamber Orchestra. I was very lucky at primary school to have a load of music teachers around us. I think 3 out of the 5 of our class teachers have music degrees, which is so unusual, especially these days. So I started in all the recorder groups, and I started playing piano at church with a lady who turned out to be a great inspiration of mine. Picked up the trumpet at school. We all had brass lessons, so I started playing the trumpet and joined all the county ensembles, orchestra, wind band, brass band, and then the classic for percussionists. Really, most of us sort of follow that route. There's too many brass players or too many wind players, so we pick up a pair of sticks and sort of take on that role. And I sort of fell into it. I really enjoyed it, and it's something that's very different and something where I could have my own individual part rather than being one of many, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, I just progressed to a point and found myself a really good teacher. I was very lucky. I was doing a lot of piano playing at the time as well, sort of studying a bit of jazz and harmony, which I really enjoyed, which really helped what I was doing. And then, I auditioned for Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, which was an experience. And I was either going to be that or go and do sort of physics and acoustics, but I decided to go and do that, which was great. A bit of a gamble, but I proved to my parents that I'd got my A-levels, so I could go and do it, which was wicked. And had a great time. And I owe my teachers, I feel very lucky actually in a lot of what I do. I owe a lot to a lot of people, but I ended up at Welsh College, got some extra work, and then just graduated, hung around in Cardiff, and then auditioned and got the job here after a long trial process, which took ages. But and that's how I kind of ended up in Scotland. I got into teaching quite early on when I was starting college, and I used to work for the junior department at Royal Welsh. I just suddenly found myself really loving a different angle of music making. I think at college, a lot of the time you go in as a performer, and that's really important. But also, realistically, a lot of people have to teach to make money to live, but I sort of found a real love for it. And at a point when I wasn't necessarily enjoying my playing so much, I thought about going and doing my PGC and being a primary school teacher. I would have loved it. I think kids especially are like sponges, they soak up anything, especially at that age, and then you can inspire them. Once you've got them, they can do whatever they want, and so I started doing a lot of work with little children and then teaching a few older people, and I've now teach a whole level of students from 70-year-olds to children. I do a couple of toddlers groups down south when I'm back there. I've done a lot of work with special needs, especially through the Scottish Chamber Orchestra with Drake, which has been amazing. It's a really rewarding experience. I don't think I'd be able to just play without teaching. I think for me it has to be a combination of both, or I just get very bored doing the one thing. It's a really rewarding process. I think I've been very lucky to play in the proms and the Albert Hall and tour all around the world. But actually, conducting my little primary school orchestra from a primary school in Cardiff on Symphony Hall stage for Music for Youth, or even just a pupil getting grade 2 merit or a distinction is worth as much as some of those wonderful playing experiences, which I think is a real leveler. You spend so much time trying to be so precise as an orchestral player, but actually to have someone sort of achieve something that is so special to them, whereas a lot of time we're just there to service or conduct it. It feels like anyway. It's a real leveler, and it's something that really enjoys and keeps us all fresh. So I know I've talked a lot about why I really love teaching, but I think it's important to mention that I really do actually enjoy playing music as well. It's such a buzz. I think we're very lucky as performers, especially to earn a living from it as well. It's from every kind of a venue, whether it's Dumfries Town Hall or our Highlands and Islands touring we do, or whether it's Usher Hall, or whether we're playing or touring in Japan or all over the world. It's such a buzz, and I think that for me it doesn't matter whether you're playing to 10 people in a hall in Edinburgh, or you're playing to on TV or sort of 5,000 people in the Albert Hall. You still get that amazing feeling of music making, and we're very lucky in the Scottish Chamber Orchestra that everyone really is there because they love it, and that's a bit of a cliche, but it's true. If anyone has come to our concerts, I hope you can see that kind of real teamwork element, and that's what I love the most. I think the spontaneity, and that we're allowed to make music with each other. We're not told what to do. We can play and we can put our own sort of stamp on what we do. And yeah, whether it's classical music making or on small ensemble stuff or just any solo playing I do, it's that chance to be totally free and totally in control of what you do as a musician. And that's very rare in any form of work, I think. And that's why, yeah, I feel so lucky to get paid to do it. My favourite project that I've done so far with Connect Department at the Scottish Chamber Orchestra is a project in WEC, Wester Hales in Edinburgh. So quite disadvantaged area, disadvantaged school, but we went in and I led with a colleague of mine a whole week of projects, sort of basically based around creative composition and trying to develop more sort of the attitude of the students towards music. A lot of them take music and their class teacher is amazing, but it was showing them how much that they could do with their own material, which is really important to us. I think a lot of students of any age, but especially who aren't lucky enough to have regular lessons and regular support, just don't have a huge amount of confidence when it comes to writing their own material. And we took this project and it was all encompassing, and by the end of the week they created.
Matt is an incredible musician. He's an incredible friend, and he's just an incredible educator. We love having Matt. I guess he is one of the most exciting people to watch, and it's quite infuriating at the end of a concert when everyone's been going hammer and tongs, and all any of the audience can talk about is Matt.
Matt is a fantastic friend of mine. I mean, me as the double bass player, it's very important to have somebody like Matt on the timpani who phrase amazing. I mean, any pizzicato in a double bass, it's connected with timpani, in the piano moments. It's always phrased, the warm sound, always trying new sticks. I suppose any of the timpani player would try any sticks, but different sticks. But Matt really tried to get that warm depth pizzicato sound with us, with the section. It always sounds beautiful. Music
in general has really enabled me, and I've been very lucky to travel internationally and work with some of the finest musicians in the world, and tour in Great Britain as well. And I have to say, I have enjoyed living in Scotland so much in the last 3 years. It's a country that's so rich with culture and has a heritage of music. I really feel though that even though Scottish Chamber Orchestra is the only orchestra based in Edinburgh, and of course there's some wonderful institutions in Glasgow, there's a real support for Celtic music, and more so than the classical era. I mean, Celtic Connections and all the folk festivals are so well supported, especially the sort of the middle demographic of what our age and above really. Classical music, it's funny, there's a bit of a gap there. There tends to be sort of children that are brought by their parents, and then there tends to be a big gap of what we see in our audiences, and then a lot of older people. And I think that I could work with ION, and the orchestra could certainly do the support to help bridge that gap and sort of make classical music cool again. And that's a really stupid thing to say, but we're working really hard as an organisation, and I know that I'm working really hard through all the projects that I'm working on to sort of prove that classical music doesn't have to be stuffy. And especially since public funding for the arts is on the decrease, and funding in generally is so hard to come by, the orchestra is really looking as an excuse to break out and to help sort of develop these evenings and try and sort of increase our demographic all the way through from children right through. I think that we could really work together to do that, and I think that ION would be a great platform for not only me to sort of bring what I love doing and bring the sort of more classical music to Scotland, but also that we could work together to sort of market it and really help bring it to everyone.